Hi, boys and girls. Today we're going to do some work with decimals. And I know you've been learning lots about decimals, and today we're going to work with a zoomable number line. This is going to be a lot of fun. So I want to show you a little bit of how the zoomable number line works so that you can also play and explore on it as well. So when you're at this site, you'll see a number line. You see how it goes in both directions. And I can click on a spot, and if I am at zoom in, it's going to zoom in on that number line between these spots. I can reset it to get back. If I want to zoom out, I can zoom out. That way I can see more numbers and reset it. So today we're going to be really zooming in on our number line, and we're going to be doing a little bit of counting. So let's look at some numbers that are between 2 and 3. Okay, so again, I'm going to click here between 2 and 3, and I'm noticing I'm getting some of the little tick marks. And I'm going to keep clicking there until some numbers pop up. So I still want to include my 2. So I have some numbers between 2 and 3. So I'm going to go ahead and really mark those. So here's my 2 and here's my 3. So boys and girls, can you help me count? Now what are you noticing here? The numbers between 2 and 3? Yes, it's showing tenths. So can you help me count by tenths? Now let's refresh our memory about when we see a decimal point, what do we say? So here, when I see this right here, I say 2 and 1/10, okay? Because right now I'm counting by tenths. Okay, so let me erase this little mark here. And let's start counting. 2, 2 and 1/10, 2 and 2/10, 2 and 3/10, 2 and 4/10, 2 and 5/10, 2 and 6/10, 2 and 7/10, 2 and 8/10, 2 and 9/10, 3. Great job, boys and girls. Now, could we do the same thing if we move down the number line? So this time, if we started at 3, we could count to 4. You ready? 3. 3 and 1/10, 3 and 2/10, 3 and 3/10, 3 and 4/10, 3 and 5/10, 3 and 6/10, 3 and 7/10, 3 and 8/10, 3 and 9/10, 4. Great job, boys and girls, helping me count by tenths. Now, let's start placing some numbers on the number line. So I'm going to erase this here. So I'm going to write some numbers up here, and we are going to place them. So here is 4 and 6/10. So let's find it on the number line. I'm noticing here that I'm in my whole number 3, so I've got to get all the way. I can zoom out. I know that I have to get to at least 4. So let's look. 4, 4 and 1/10, 4 and 2/10, 4 and 3/10, 4 and 4/10, 4 and 5/10, 4 and 6/10. So there it is. There is 4 and 6/10. Let's mark it. Now, where would this number be on the number line? This is 3 and 8/10. So I have to look at my 3 whole number. Oh, there it is. 3 and 7/10, 3 and 8/10. Great job. Let's do some more. Okay, you ready for your next number? That is 9 and 3/10. So what 2 whole numbers would that be between? That's right, it's going to be between 9 and 10. So let's zoom in between 9 and 10. Let's look. So here are 9 and 10. Do you see 9 and 3/10? There it is. 9 and 3/10. Let's count the numbers between 9 and 10. 9, 9 and 1/10, 9 and 2/10, 9 and 3/10, 9 and 4/10, 9 and 5/10, 9 and 6/10, 9 and 7/10, 9 and 8/10, 9 and 9/10, and 10. Great job. Now, we know that there are numbers. I'm going to reset my number line here, that are in between these numbers. So let's look between 2 and 3 again. So we know the numbers between 2 and 3. Let's look closer at the numbers between 2 and 1/10 and 2 and 2/10. So I'm going to zoom in, starting to get my marks here. So let's look at the numbers that are between 2 and 1/10 and 2 and 2/10. What do you notice? I'm noticing that it's numbers that are going to the hundreds. Would this also be 2 and 1/10? Yes, because this has 1/10 and 0 hundredths. So I could also say 2 and 1/10, or I could say 2 and 10 hundredths. So those are equal. So let's count the numbers between 2 and 1/10 and 2 and 2/10. 2 and 1/10, 2 and 11 hundredths, 2 and 12 hundredths, 2 and 13 hundredths, 2 and 14 hundredths, 2 and 1500ths, 2 and 1600ths, 2 and 1700ths, 2 and 1800ths, 2 and 1900ths, 2 and 2000ths. Oh, well that says 2 and 2/10. So is it true that 2 and 2/10 is equivalent to 2 and 2000ths? Yes, because 2 and 2/10 has 2 wholes and 2/10, and 2 and 2000ths has 2 wholes, 2/10, and 0 hundredths. Now let's take another zoom into our number line. Let's go between 2 and 1600ths and 2 and 1700ths. Starting to get my tick marks. What are you noticing? Yes, this time it is showing thousandths. So can we read these numbers? 2 and 1600ths, 2 and 161 thousandths, 2 and 162 thousandths, 2 and 163 thousandths, 2 and 164 thousandths, 2 and 165 thousandths, 2 and 166 thousandths, 2 and 167 thousandths, 2 and 168 thousandths, 2 and 169 thousandths, 2 and 1700ths. Let's look at 2 and 1700ths. Get my pen. Could I also say that that is 2 and 170 thousandths? I still have 1/10 and 7 hundredths. So yes, 2 and 17 hundredths is equivalent to 2 and 170 thousandths. So let's find this a number on the number line. Can you help me find this number? Can you read that number? 4 and 176 thousandths. First, what whole number is that going to be between? I know it's greater than 4, but less than 5, so it's going to be between 4 and 5. So let's zoom in between 4 and 5. So here is 4 and 5. So what tenth is it going to be between? So I know I have 1/10 here, but I don't quite have 2/10. So let's zoom in between 4 and 1/10 and 4 and 2/10. So now I have 4 1/10 and 4 2/10. So let's think about hundredths. I have 7 hundredths here, and I don't quite have 8 hundredths. So I know this number is going to be between 4 17 hundredths and 4 18 hundredths. So let's zoom in. Can we find our number? Oops, let's see. Let's mark it. Let me get my pen. There it is. So let's count. 4 17 hundredths, 4 171 thousandths, 4 172 thousandths, 4 173 thousandths, 4 174 thousandths, 4 175 thousandths, 4 176 thousandths. Great job, boys and girls, finding numbers on a number line and counting. You can continue to explore using this number line.